Hello everyone, this is Ankita
This is her Sharan.
and we are Team Optimists from MDI Gurgaon. The sector we selected for the case study is automobiles, and these are the major facts mentioned in the case. Based on these facts, we came up with the following two hypotheses. Plastic and other alternates are a growing threat to steel, and there is a decrease in private ownership of vehicles by customers. In order to analyze the case, we performed the industry, material substitution, and consumer trends analysis. Thereby, we came up with our recommendations and possible scenario for the future. Starting off with the industry analysis, we first performed pestle as can be seen in the slide. The major highlights of the pestle analysis are the recent implementation of minimum import price and increased consumer awareness about the safety and environmental norms, along with the conscious consideration towards fuel efficiency. Apart from this, the other major factors include increased availability of composites, alloy steel, aluminum, etc., and increasing competition from the global players such as POSCO. Now, coming to the Quarter 5 analysis, we feel that Tata Steel faces major threat from increasing bargaining power of buyers or OEMs due to the growing awareness coupled with availability of alternates. Their bargaining power is further amplified by increasing number of foreign players. However, we believe that Tata Steel faces very low threat from its suppliers due to the backward integrated supply chain. And the threat from substitution, new entrants and competitors is moderate. And all this together keeps the overall threat of competition moderate for Tata Steel.
Next, we move on to the material substitution analysis. First, we studied the report by McKinsey & Co. The report suggests emergence of mainly three types of packages, which are the conventional lightweight package, which states high-strength steel to be the chosen material and accounts for 66% of the vehicles sold. Second, we have the moderate lightweight package, which accounts for 33% of the vehicles sold and sees replacement by aluminium, magnesium, HSS, and small amounts of carbon fiber. Lastly, there is the extreme lightweight package, which sees steel being replaced by carbon fiber. But we can see that a combination of steel and HSS is expected to contribute 63% of the vehicle weight in the crucial conventional lightweight package, as it covers 66% of the vehicles sold. The major inhibiting factor for low adoption of alternates is the part cost to part weight ratio, which is pretty high for materials like aluminium, carbon fiber, etc. Aluminium and carbon fiber have ratios as high as 2.1 and 11 as compared to a small ratio of 1.4 for HSS. Not only this, but various other problems pertaining to low adoption stem from issues like maintenance, recyclability, and overall negative CO2 impact of alternates. All these factors contribute to an increase in the overall cost to the company. Next, we studied the Forbes report, which highlights the steel industry's heavy investment in R&D and HSS, which will help them retain their market share. The report also states the example of S in motion steels, which helps achieve a 19% weight reduction in a typical C-segment vehicle. In an interview with Seston Brook, the director of World Auto Steel, following points in terms of emission norms, recyclability, and competitive advantage highlight the reasons for sustainability of steel in the automotive industry. Lastly, we studied the KPMG and ACMA report, which focuses on these 5 challenges for low adoption of alternates and lightweighting, reinforcing reasons like repair cost, training, and processing upgradation requirements. The report also showcases the major advantages and challenges of various alternate materials, as can be seen on the screen. Like challenges faced in case of aluminium, as it is harder to spot weld and uses labor-intensive adhesive bonding. Similarly, in case of carbon fiber, the major challenge is that it's very high cost and many players can't afford that. After the secondary research, we proceeded with the primary research and interviewed the vendors to OEM in order to understand their take on the replacement by alternates. Our major takeaway was the need for lightweight high tensile strength steel and leveraging the opportunity provided by increased import duty and compulsion of BSI mark on foreign players as well. After this, we proceeded to interview executives from OEMs of both passenger as well as commercial vehicles. In passenger vehicles, we interviewed people from Mahindra, Maruti, Continental as well as Reva in order to get a perspective across various segments of the passenger vehicle market. Based on our analysis, we did not find a major threat to the steel industry and discovered the following opportunities in terms of increasing demand of galvanized steel, application of alloy in casting and forging sector, as well as increased usage of stainless steel in railways industry. Mr. Nema from Reva pointed out the disadvantages of composites from his experience as well as suggested the ELV concept. In our interview with Ms. Preeti Sinha, we found that in luxury car segment, while the outer body is shifting from steel to alternates, the inner enclosures are shifting towards steel. In the commercial vehicles, we interviewed people from Isuzu, Swaraj and New Holland. They all unanimously agreed that steel would find an increased usage due to the upcoming safety norms such as the tractor, bus and truck body roll test. We also identified opportunities in terms of application of prefabricated sections and understood that consumers were very quality conscious, resisting to change towards lower quality materials such as plastics in major components. On the basis of a primary and secondary research, we concluded that steel is here to stay and not the alternates. The major factor being the cost to the weight ratio. But the industry needs to ensure that HSS helps reduce more weight without increase in cost. Apart from this, steel maintains its stronghold by being the preferred material for the 66% of the passenger vehicles, as well as possible increase in usage for the commercial vehicles.
Next, we moved on to study the consumer trends and analyze the report by KPMG. The major outcomes of the study concluded that, contrary to the belief that demand for personal vehicles would decline in the near future, there is actually going to be an increase in private ownership of vehicles by 2020. The major factors responsible for this increase would be growing urbanization and increasing desire of private ownership of vehicles by Indians. The Deloitte report revealed that 680 million Gen Y consumers are looking forward to buying or leasing their own vehicles in the next 5 years, which is a positive sign for steel industry. The report by PwC suggests that there is going to be a shift in the center of gravity in terms of vehicle demand from North America to Asia and Japan, with India being the focal point of that growth, with an expected increase in sales to 6 million plus units. Hence, India is going to emerge as the place to be for the global OEMs. In the next 20 years, India will secure its position amongst the global big three in automobile manufacturing. And India automotive sales are expected to exceed the US market by 2035. We moved on to interview public and private transport users to understand their viewpoint toward these two modes of transport. Though most of the people agreed that public transport helps keep the environment clean, yet the convenience, comfort and door-to-door connectivity provided by private vehicle is unmatched by public transport. The survey conducted reaffirmed the importance of these factors. Very few people showed readiness to shift to public transport from private transport, though the percentage was huge for shift from public to private.
Now we come to the recommendations part. In the start, we took the following two hypotheses, and from a study, we can see that both of them can be neglected. But that is not enough. Steel industry needs to see present times as an opportunity rather than a threat. Our recommendations for the same are as follows. Investment into high tensile strength steel. There is a growing demand for it, and categories like 780 MPa as well as 920 MPa are still being imported. A perfect example of weight reduction using HSS can be seen in Baleno, where there is a weight reduction of almost 100 kg on a model-to-model basis. Next is increasing the scope of continuously annealed steel. The increasing demand due to its superior finishing is a positive sign for JCAPCL, which is a step in the same direction by Tata Steel Group. Tata either needs to expand capacity or variety in order to bank on their first mover advantage in continuously annealed steel segment. Third suggestion is to capitalize the opportunities available in the commercial vehicle segment, as the upcoming safety norms indicate an increased usage of steel due to the low willingness to pay for commercial vehicles. Examples for increased usage can be found in addition of driver's chamber through tractors as well as replacement of wooden body in low priced trucks. Alloy steel is another segment from which Tata moved out a while ago due to lack of acceptance. But at present, there is an increasing demand in the casting and forging sector. We believe that to be a leader in the innovation curve, Tata Steel needs to create new markets and business units. Keeping this in mind, we want to highlight the opportunities in terms of ELV and prefabrication. Talking about prefabrication first, there is a scope for prefabricated parts like C-section and I-section in commercial vehicles, as they stay uniform across companies. In order to find prevalent examples, we found the case of ArcelorMittal, where they produce prefabricated door rings for Honda Acura, and the R&D teams works in association with automobile manufacturers across the globe. And in an attempt to find similarities in Tata, we found the hydroforming solution offered by Tata Steel Europe in the Tata Tubes segment. Coming to the next part, ELV laws are very stringent in countries like North America and UK, with steel being the most recycled product in North America. Tata Steel should thus push the Indian government to implement the same in our country. We believe this will help increase usage of steel due to the closed loop properties and easier recyclability when compared to the alternate materials. Not only this, it will also help lower the present threat of substitution posed by the alternate materials. With time, Tata Steel should tie up with OEMs in order to become their shredding partners, thus increasing their dependence and lowering their bargaining power.
Lastly, we tried to work out the various possible scenarios for the future. First up is the low risk, low return scenario where we go with the flow and maintain the status quo. Next possible scenario is the one where the risk is low and returns are moderate, wherein we invest in product lines which are bound to succeed in the near future. And the last is moderate risk, high return scenario wherein we invest in opportunities such as recycling and prefabrication that will help Tata Steel gain a first mover advantage. Under scenario 1, the risk is low because there is no extra investment or experimentation. But the return remains low as well because Tata Steel may lose share to foreign players and first movers. Under scenario 2, risk is low because MIP will help leverage cost advantage to imports as well as there is an increasing demand for these products, but this gets us only moderate returns because competition from domestic players will still exist and expansion of market share will become a huge concern. The third scenario poses moderate risk because it requires huge investment and will show results only in the long term, with no major short-term indicators. However, it will reap high returns in the future as will have a first mover advantage. Additionally, the bargaining power of the suppliers would go down due to additional source of raw material. Thus, we would like to rank the three scenarios in the following order of preference, with rank 1 to scenario 3, rank 2 to scenario 2 and rank 3 to scenario 1. With this, we would like to end our presentation. We thank you all for the patient viewing. We would request you to kindly refer to the PPT for the annexures.